So Claire Spencer is head of the Middle East and North Africa programme at Research Institute Chatham House here in London. She joins me in the studio now. Claire, thanks so much for coming in. So the parliament has been dissolved, the constitution suspended. Is Egypt effectively under direct military rule now?
Yes, it seems it is, although there are still reports in the States they're wondering exactly who do they call when they phone up Egypt Central, who's actually controlling things. But I think we can assume it is the Supreme Military Council who announced they were taking over, and the head of that is Field Marshal Tantawi himself, associated with the former regime, but the one who's actually guided the military action over the last few weeks, which has, you know, as we've seen, essentially been not to use violence against protesters.
So, Claire, what does all this mean? What do the events of the past few days, the communiques that have been coming out, the tone that the military strikes in these statements, what does this tell us about the future role of the military? Are they going to continue to grow in importance and power in Egypt?
Well, they've been saying all the right things about moving to elections within 6 months, obviously having to review the constitution. It's not entirely clear who's going to do that, so I think we need to look out for who do they appoint in the way of lawyers. It's not going to be the parliament, which has been suspended, so National Democratic Party, will they be involved in this or not, or will it be a sort of council of wise men and scholars, lawyers, who actually review the constitution? So these are the issues at stake, and we've seen over the weekend economic issues are coming to the fore again, with more strikes and more protests about wages and unemployment.
Yeah, tell me about that, because expectations are extremely high now, aren't they?
Well, they were promised, the workers in general were promised a 15% increase in wages by Mubarak as part of the kind of concessions he was making. This clearly isn't going to be enough for the wide range of Egyptians who've been protesting, yes, for a more open system, but also for their economic participation in Egypt. There's also the mystery of the supposed $40 billion, which were controlled by the Mubarak family and the immediate regime.
Which will
Where's
presumably be spread very, very widely, I should think.
Well, we don't know where that money is. I mean, this is the source and stuff of rumour, but that's an awful lot of money not to be accounted for. So how the Egyptian economy evolves, the police themselves, who've been absent from the streets, actually stage a demonstration over pay and conditions. I think we're going to see more of this over the next few months.
And just tell me about, again, the military's role in the economy, because they have some pretty extensive business interests which they are presumably going to want to protect and safeguard. Yes,
it's very much an enmeshed, intertwined system of senior, 3 or 4 or 5 senior businesses are very close to the military, and likewise. I think the decision facing the senior military is, are they going to seize this as an historical moment where, frankly, behind the scenes, they could probably secure a few assets and use this as a way of saying, we are fulfilling the historic destiny of Egypt by withdrawing from the scene, so they'll keep their villas, they'll keep their health package, their pension plans, and they will gradually withdraw from direct control of any of these businesses. And in fact, they've always preferred a role from behind the scenes. The military have not directly run Egypt in the past.
And Claire, very briefly, if I can draw on your experience, the wider region, do you see uprisings beyond Egypt now? We've seen anti-government protests in Yemen, opposition groups planning the same in Algeria.
I don't think the spirit of this is going to go away in a hurry. I think it's the self-confidence that the Egyptians have shown. And let's pay credit also to the Tunisians. They were the first to spark this, and they themselves were having parties over the weekend and certainly on Friday when Mubarak left. I think there's a change of mood in the region where an air of depression and inevitability about what happens has gone away. So there will be people trying things on. I think in every state, though, what actually happens will depend on how the ruling systems play the game and how tightly the security forces control things.
Claire Spencer from Chatham House, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great to get your analysis on that.